Look at this. Here we are. Transcend Studio in Tampa has allowed me to not only shoot the guests that we have on this wonderful show, Beyond the Claim, but we're now going to do the solo show here again. And today, what we are going to be talking about is limiting beliefs. We're going to get into the mindset of things, guys. You're not stuck because you're not capable. You're stuck because you're addicted to staying in your comfort zone. On today's episode, I'm going to expose the invisible ceiling, the internal thermostat that kills your momentum and how you can break through it. We're gonna get into one of my favorite books. It's where I learned it, and we're gonna be able to basically break through some limiting beliefs and some false thoughts that you guys have, and why your greatest enemy isn't outside of you, it's actually inside of you. And we're gonna get into it right now in 3, in 2, in 1. All right, let's get right into it, guys. First of all, welcome to this beautiful studio here. My name is Vince Perri, and I am your coach. I am your public adjuster coach. I'm your business coach. I'm your entrepreneurial coach. I'm the guy who's going to try to help you break through any of your limiting beliefs and anything that you've got going on, because something that I learned really just over the last year or so is a lot of your progress is stalled, not because of the things that are going on outside, not because of any external factors whatsoever. What's really stopping you from really going on to that million, 10 million, 20 million, $30 million revenue, buying the private jets, buying the boats and the big house and everything that you want in your dreams, it's just the fact that you don't believe in yourself. It's just the fact that you might have a fear of actually thinking that you're worth having that stuff. It's just the fact of a fear that you may not think that you're smart enough or capable, or you don't want to rise above your friends and family in a way that makes you look like a jerk or some rich asshole or anything like that. I want to tell you that all those things are just thoughts. All those things are just make-believe thoughts that you're just making believe in your head, that you could actually turn them around into something completely different to actually better suit you, to get you to where you want to be. So let's get right into it. My favorite book, by the way, that you guys are going to want to read after this, and we'll leave a link below, is called The Big Leap. I got a lot of this content from The Big Leap because it was an eye-opener for me. It made me realize that at the time, I had some major limiting beliefs that I felt that I just wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't talented enough. But at the end of the day, that's all made up, because I will tell you right now, whoever's watching, you are smart enough, you are talented enough, and you are capable of really achieving the most craziest and wildest dreams that you could ever think of. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about, number one, is going to be called the upper limit problem. They call it ULP in the book. And what the upper limit problem is actually a subconscious belief that you're only allowed a certain amount of success, a certain amount of love, a certain amount of happiness. When things go too well, what ends up happening, you don't even realize it sometimes, but you actually sabotage it. You actually sabotage your success. You start picking fights, you get sick, or you start procrastinating, or you just start overall creating chaos. You ever have that feeling where you're just messy in your head and just things aren't going the way they are? That is basically part upper limiting belief, but also part you just sort of creating this in your head so that it just stalls you from actually getting better. It's also a test. It's a test that if you start getting crazy in the head, or all of a sudden you get a bad sickness, all that is basically the universe just testing you. Can you actually get past this? Are you actually worth getting past this little obstacle that you've basically just created for yourself, or maybe that the universe just threw at you? Let's say you land a big deal and then you just ghost the lead the next day, or you start gaining momentum and suddenly you just feel overwhelmed or distracted. That's coming up in your head. You're making that stuff up in your head, and I'm telling you that you are better, that you are worth it. Take it from me, guys. It's where I was. I've told this story before. At the beginning of 2024, end of 2023, I was about this close from bankruptcy. And all that was is because what I was ending up doing is I was just overhiring. I was spending too much money. I was trying to scale. But the reason why I overhired so much was because I really deep inside didn't think that I was capable of doing the positions I was hiring for. I'm talking about operations manager, marketing manager, this manager, CEO, COO, all these C-suites for really what was a small business that wasn't necessary. And I only did it not because I didn't want to, not because I thought it was the way to scale, but really deep inside on a subconscious level, it was really because I didn't think that I was capable of actually running an operations department. I didn't think I was capable of running a marketing department. Like, think about that, guys. You guys have followed me on social media for this long now. Don't you think I'd probably be pretty capable of actually running a marketing department? So just make sure, be careful that you really think about some of these limiting beliefs that are coming inside of you, that are inside of your head, that you're thinking, that you have to just try to be conscious of it so that you could wipe it out thought and either put a new thought in there or just break right through it. A lot of people end up getting sick as well. All of a sudden they get a bad cold, they get COVID, they get something like that, and it sabotages your success. Again, those are two things, either something that's made up that you're creating yourself, or it's just the universe that's actually trying to test you to see if you could break through it. Because what's on the other side of that is freaking gold. Trust me what I tell you, it's gold, it's success, and it's freedom. The next thing that you have to do is now you have to identify these limiting beliefs. Identify what they are. These are usually unconscious and they're tied to old survival stories. So I'm gonna give you some big ones, okay? So number one is I'm fundamentally flawed, or I can't outshine others, or success will make me unlovable, or if I make more money, I'll lose freedom or I'll lose relationships. That's a big one. Thinking that by scaling your company, by being more successful, it will just actually take up too much time and you won't have enough time for your loved ones and for your relationships and everyone around you. I will tell you from experience, if you do it right, if you scale correctly, if you actually do the things that you're supposed to do that I teach on this show, I will tell you that the larger you get, the more you scale, because I had this limiting belief for a long time. I never wanted to scale. I never wanted to go next level because I always associated more success, more fame, more money with just more responsibility. But it doesn't have to be that way. So I want you to think about when something actually starts going really well, what's the voice in your head that creeps in right after? Or when something's going really well, what is it that's just sort of all of a sudden coming out of left field? All of a sudden just coming into your life that's negative, that's not where you want it to be, that's actually distracting you from the goal and from the finish line that you want to get to. So I want you to really think about this and I want you to do something for me. I want you to write down what you want most, and then I want you to ask yourself, why don't I already have this? The answer usually is your limiting belief. So I want you to do this exercise while you're watching this or right after this episode. So how do we do this? All right, let's give you a little bit of a framework, a little bit of a step-by-step process on how to actually break the chain of these limiting beliefs that start to creep up into your head or that start to come into your life. The first thing I will tell you is extreme ownership and radical accountability. That's right. So I actually remember reading this in a book by Grant Cardone in one of his great books about sales. And he talks about if you want to be successful, you have to basically take accountability and take ownership for everything that happens in your life. I'll give you a great example. There was one day where I had to pick up my mom from somewhere that she was. And I knew all day that I had to pick her up. But what happened was right when it came close to the time, I realized that I actually had scheduled an appointment. So I called someone to pick her up. They go pick her up and I'm obviously stressed because she had to get out at a certain time. And as soon as they pick her up, they drive out of the parking lot and they get into an accident. Now, is that car accident my fault? Obviously not. However, it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided because if I would have scheduled correctly, if I would have let people know ahead of time and everything was a little bit more calm, then maybe the accident actually wouldn't happen. Everything that's happening in your business, everything that's happening in your health, and everything that's happening in your relationships, guys, it's actually a reflection on you. It's a reflection of your thermostat. Until you own your thermostat, you cannot change the temperature. So make sure that you realize that everything is ultimately in your control. Even the things that are out of your control, you could find a way to bring it back and really accept accountability for those things happening. Because once you do this, that's when you get the self-awareness. And self-awareness equals power. So catch yourself in the act of sabotage, any kind of excuses, any kind of tension, any kind of distraction, and ask yourself, am I upper limiting right now? Am I in the ULP, the upper limit problem? Is this a limiting belief that is just coming into? Or is this something, again, that the universe is coming up, that they're trying to stop me? And how can I avoid it? How can I actually take responsibility to break right through it? Because you want to eventually shift into expansion. That's right. Shift into just an expansion mode where you're actually living in your future. Replace the fear with appreciation and upgrade your belief, okay? You want to tell yourself, I expand in abundance. I expand in success, and I expand and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. Tell yourself that every single day, and I'm telling you, you'll go next level into a whole other realm of possibilities that you didn't even think of. So that's really the framework of how you do it. So my favorite part is when we start talking about something that's called the zone of genius, okay? Now, most of us live in what's called the zone of excellence. What's the zone of excellence? Is you're doing things that you're good at, but they also drain you. I've also studied with different coaches that talk about you're doing the things that you love, okay, but they just still tend to drain you. That's now, and it's called the zone of excellence because you're still in your excellence, all right? We're gonna go next level with this. You wanna go above and beyond your zone of excellence. You wanna really try to find your true, real power. And that is called the zone of genius. The zone of genius is what you're uniquely designed to do with joy and with flow. Things that actually light you up. Things that actually excite you. It's a journey that I am constantly on myself. I'm not afraid to admit that I still get caught in the weaves and I still get caught in the things that I know I shouldn't be doing, or I still get caught in the things that I just don't enjoy anymore. Realize it. Catch it, write it down. If I could give you guys any kind of advice right now, I will tell you that you'll want to really take a notebook, okay? This is a great practice for anybody, is you take yourself a notebook and you leave that same notebook next to you for, let's say, an entire week. And you want to basically write down everything that you do throughout that day. And you want to separate those into 4 different buckets, okay? And we'll call 2 of those buckets the zone of excellence and the zone of genius. The other 2 buckets are basically 2 things that are just, things that you do, but you hate and you're not good at. And then another one, if I can remember, is things that you're good at, but that you hate, because also things that you're not good at and you hate. But then the other 2 are things that you're good at, but maybe you shouldn't be doing. And then the last one is what's called the zone of genius. So anyway, don't worry about those 4. I'll save that for another show. Write down what you're doing every day on a daily basis. And then go through it after a week and check off the things that really, really, really light you up, that really, really get you going. And you're going to want to try to really focus yourself on your daily habits on doing only those things. So ask yourself, what activity do you lose track in and time doing? Like you just lose track of it and you just lose the time and you just all of a sudden you're unresponsible when you're normally a very responsible person, or irresponsible. What do people always thank you for? That's something that, you might actually really enjoy doing. What comes easy to you, but is hard for others? You want to make sure that you're asking yourself the right questions on whether these things light you up or not, or you just absolutely hate them. You're going to want to try to avoid those as much as possible, as difficult as that may be. So what I want you to start trying to do is once you do this list and you really pick out 1 or 2 or 3 things that really light you up, that really energize you, that really separate you from the pack because you're so good at it, then I want you to try to dedicate a little bit of time every day just to that. Even if it's just 30 minutes, dedicate a little bit of time every day just to that. We're going to get into setting up your calendar and stuff like that on the show and all kinds of stuff. But another exercise that you can do is you could dedicate maybe 1 day a week in your zone of genius. Your other days are just doing the stuff that, either you don't typically enjoy or you have to do because it's just part of your job as an entrepreneur. But there's going to be, if you could dedicate, like I said, 30 minutes every day or just 1 day, okay? At Strategic Coach, Dan Sullivan calls it your focus day. And you're just focusing on, basically, in this case, your zone of genius, on doing the things that really light you up. So really, it starts with really writing everything down, making sure you have a great idea of everything that you do throughout the day, and try to remove all the stuff that you don't like doing to someone else if you're able to afford a personal assistant or an admin or something like that, and try to get into that focus to try to get into your zone of genius as often as possible. What I want to really tell you is that you're safe to expand and let go of your fears. Fears is a big one, guys. We all have it. We all have that fear of success. We all have that fear of actually, taking it to the next level and the responsibilities that will come for it. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to have those fears, okay? And you could actually catch them when they come in. You're a lot smarter than you think. You can be a lot more successful than you are. Most limiting beliefs are rooted in fear. It's not safe to shine. Understand that your genius and what you're great at, it doesn't just serve you, it serves the world. When you play small, nobody wins. Not your family, not your clients, not your legacy. You were designed for expansion, not stress, not struggle, or scarcity. You have a whole other level that you're not even aware of. And again, I'm going to always bring it back to my experience. What you see now, just look at the show. Look at the studio. Look where we're at. I would have never thought about this 5 years ago. Would have never thought about this even a year ago. But we continue to break through those limiting beliefs. We continue to break through all of those obstacles and struggles that just life continues to throw at us. And you just break through. And what's on the other side is this beautiful podcast studio, Transcend Studio, of course, in Tampa. And just a whole other level of what you can do. I will tell you right now, wait till you see what we've got coming up on the show. It's just going to blow your mind. And I'm very excited about it because the reason why I haven't gotten there before, or it's taken me this long to do it, is because of limiting beliefs that I've had. And it's time to shed those, not just for me, but for you as well. So let's recap, guys. All right. There's a lot of information. What's the upper limit problem? What is the upper limit? It's basically your internal ceiling. Internal ceiling. It's not what the actual world thinks that you can do because the sky is the limit. It's your internal ceiling. That's the upper limit. What is the upper limit problem? The upper limit problem is just things that, you get scatterbrain or you get sick or some random thing all of a sudden happens in your life that stalls you from continuing to progress forward. Just be conscious of it and then break through it. Limiting beliefs. That's the subconscious sabotage. That's the subconscious, basically, that has been instilled to you, by the way, since you were a child. Since whatever your parents were telling you, since whatever your schoolmates or ever told you that you weren't fast enough, you weren't athletic enough, you weren't smart enough, that a C is okay to accept and not get an A. Or if when you were drawing a picture as a kid and somebody told you, maybe it was even your parents, that that's an ugly drawing, you're not going to be an artist. Those things are actually put into your subconscious from when you are a child. Again, what you want to do is just be conscious of it and know that that's not real. That's just experiences that you have that has now guided you into your consciousness of how you act every single day. That is not you. You are more than that. The next thing is freedom. Choose your expansion daily. Choose how you want to live your life every day. My favorite thing to do, oh my goodness, Joe Dispenza, is that manifestation stuff, right? That manifestation where you could actually try to put yourself in a meditative state inside of your subconscious of your most wildest dreams and then live like that every single day. That's a whole other subject that we can get into, but just look up Joe Dispenza and you will be able to find out some of the most amazing things that you could actually do to really change the trajectory of your life. And then, of course, the power of living in your zone of genius. Go through that calendar, go through that week, and really pick out the things that you do best. Maybe try to dedicate 30 minutes or try to dedicate a full day into that zone of genius so that you can live there eventually and really just take it to the next level. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you to comment below, guys. What I'd like for you to comment below is, what belief are you leaving behind today? What is it that you had? I will tell you mine. Mine was always a belief that I just wasn't smart enough. I just wasn't smart enough. I always felt that I was always a B and C student my entire life. I got through college by, don't tell anyone, cheating on a lot of my tests in order to get my degree. And I got through high school by cheating on a lot of my tests, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that I'm not smart enough, because everyone has a different kind of smart. Everyone has a different kind of intelligence. You're street smart, you're book smart, you're really good with people, or you're really good at math. Whatever it is, everyone has a zone of genius. Everyone has, as human beings, we are incredible creatures. So I want you to think about, what is the belief that's holding you back? And I want you to put it down in the comment below to let me know, what is it that's holding you back that you need to break through, so that I can tell you it's a make-believe thought that has been taught to you since you were a child. So I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to follow the show, because that's where the direction of this show is headed. We're trying to make an impact. My word for 2025 is to be impactful, and I'm going to do the best that I can every single day, every single show, so that I can make an impact on you to ultimately help you level up, because there's just so much abundance out there for you. We can go next level with all of it. So like, subscribe, share this video. Make sure you hit the bell as well, because every Monday we're here with a guest. Every Wednesday we're here with a live show where I'm going to teach you something new, whether it's something that I've experienced or just something that I've learned in a book, okay? It doesn't have to be where I've experienced all these things, although I have something to relate to every single thing. It could be something that I've read in an amazing book that I want you to read as well. And then on Sunday I go live, where I really get deep and personal into some of my things that are going on in my life. So there's a lot of good stuff coming to you here on the show, and I'd really like for you to subscribe and share it with as many people as you can. And then that's it. We'll see you here next week. See you later, guys. Peace out.